From her successful roles on Blossom and The Big Bang Theory to hosting Jeopardy, Mayim Bialik is a multi-talented woman, but she's also had her share of controversies. This is the untold truth of Mayim Bialik. Born and raised in California, it might come as no surprise that Mayim Bialik got her start in acting relatively early on. She told Edge magazine that, even though she really got her start in professional acting as she was entering middle school, she had participated in theater from the time she was in elementary school. I was active in school plays. I felt comfortable in drama class when we had to do plays and stuff, but I was not a hammy kid. I wasn't an exceptionally outgoing or theatrical kid. When I would meet other child actors, they were very theatrical and always kind of on. That wasn't me at all. Bialik won a part in the 1988 movie Beaches when she was only 12 years old. She told Edge magazine that her late start as a child actor helped shape her personality into who she is today. She also believes that escaping Hollywood during her childhood helped shape her perspective. Instead of being fixated on being good enough for show business, she was able to enjoy what she calls a relatively normal experience. In 1990, Mayim Bialik was cast as the title character in the NBC sitcom Blossom, launching her to stardom. Bialik's character Blossom Russo is an Italian-American teen coping with the recent departure of her mother who left the family. Bialik later explained to Entertainment Weekly that the entire team at the show wanted the character of Blossom to be forward-thinking. For example, in one episode, Blossom is seen carrying a reusable canvas tote bag, a practice that is completely mainstream now, but that was unexpected when the show aired back in the early 1990s. After Blossom ended in 1995, Bialik defied expectations when she dropped out of Hollywood and went to college. While speaking to Edge magazine, Bialik clarified that she made a, quote, conscious decision to leave acting because she was also passionate about neuroscience, the subject in which she now holds her PhD. Packing up and moving to UCLA's campus for the next few years made sense to Bialik. The experience instilled in her an advocacy for girls and women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math careers. She also felt the break from acting gave her valuable perspective. She told Edge magazine, "I think women in particular should be encouraged to try lots of different things, especially with the underrepresentation of women in science." After graduating, Mayim Bialik actually spent a few years both auditioning for roles and teaching biology, chemistry, and neuroscience at UCLA. While it might surprise some that she simultaneously enjoyed such seemingly unrelated fields, Bialik told The Hollywood Reporter, "Just because someone works in the creative world doesn't mean that they're not also interested or skilled at science." When she stepped back into the world of acting, Bialik also partnered with calculator company Texas Instruments to promote an initiative designed to inspire more girls to enter STEM fields. Joining the project gave her the opportunity to, quote, put a positive face on the movement to provide more girls and women with access to STEM careers.
Being a scientist is as exciting, creative, and interesting as being an artist.
In 2010, Mayim Bialik made a career move that would change everything when she joined the cast of The Big Bang Theory. On the show, Bialik played Amy Farrah Fowler, who was essentially written as the female counterpart to Jim Parsons' Sheldon Cooper. While it's nearly impossible for fans of the show to imagine anyone else playing the part, Bialik told The Social that the reason she auditioned in the first place is one that many Americans can relate to. She explained, "I'm sure all of you up in Canada can understand that I was running out of health insurance because that's not considered a human right in this country." She added that as a mom of 2 young boys, she knew she needed to get herself and her kids covered after her health insurance no longer covered her after graduate school. Bialik's plan was simple: get a handful of jobs over a period of time, just enough to get insurance again. Of course, the reality is that things went wildly well for Bialik, and she was soon a regular on the show. Parade wrote that Bialik made $45,000 per episode when she started off as a recurring character, but that this rate gradually increased over time to $175,000 per episode. So health insurance is probably no longer an issue for her anymore. In some circles, Mayim Bialik is just as popular for her proud Judaism as she is for acting or for neuroscience. While much has been made about her PhD in neuroscience, few people realize that Bialik also studied Hebrew and Jewish studies at UCLA, and that she's a practicing modern Orthodox Jew. She told the Jerusalem Post that while she was raised according to Reform Judaism, the transition to Orthodoxy was pretty easy for her because of her own family's background. She said, "3 of my 4 grandparents are immigrants to this country, and my mom was raised Orthodox but left Orthodoxy when she was a teenager." Bialik also spoke to the Jerusalem Post about how difficult it is to be an observant Jew within the context of Hollywood, saying that expectations for how she will and won't dress on the red carpet can be, quote, extremely stressful and difficult to work around. She also added that finding dresses that are appropriately modest but also appropriately designer is one of the hardest parts of being Orthodox in Hollywood. Mayim Bialik made headlines in August 2012 when she was involved in a serious car crash that resulted in numerous injuries. As reported by The Hollywood Reporter, the car Bialik was driving was hit near the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and La Brea Avenue, and Bialik was transported to the hospital with pretty serious injuries to her right hand. While Bialik did later tweet that she was, quote, in pain, she relieved her fans when she revealed she would not lose any of her fingers. While the car accident occurred right before filming began for that year's season of The Big Bang Theory, Bialik later insisted that her injury would not interfere with the show's production. In fact, the only noticeable impact from the crash on the show was that Bialik had to refrain from playing the harp, an instrument in which her Big Bang character Amy is quite adept. Mayim Bialik and her ex-husband, Michael Stone, share 2 children together, Frederick and Miles. Bialik has made parenthood a central part of her life, and she regularly speaks about the importance it plays in her life. She told Us Weekly that the biggest thing she wishes she had known about being a parent before becoming one is that no one ever feels like they know everything they need to know, saying, "I raise my children knowing that every day, this is my first day parenting, so we're going to learn together and I'm going to do my best." Bialik strongly identifies with attachment parenting, a style of parenting that emphasizes making sure babies feel their needs are met through consistent and constant love and attention from their parents or caregivers starting as early as possible. In fact, she wrote a parenting book titled Beyond the Sling, a real-life guide to raising confident, loving children the attachment parenting way. While some embraced the book, it also proved to be controversial for concepts like co-sleeping and diaperless potty training. Bialik told the Toronto Star that she understood some of the backlash, as she didn't understand the concept of attachment parenting when friends first told her about it in the 1990s, but that her PhD studies at UCLA actually helped her see the style of parenting in a new light. In 2012, Mayim Bialik filed for divorce from her husband of 9 years, Michael Stone. The decision was clearly an emotional one for the actress, and she explained in a statement that the decision was one she and her then-husband weighed heavily. In her statement, she also requested privacy as the two made, quote, the transition to 2 loving homes as smooth and painless as possible. The pair also indicated that co-parenting would be their biggest priority, a fact that was underscored in 2018 when Bialik spent Thanksgiving with her ex-husband, their 2 children, her ex's new girlfriend, the girlfriend's children, and the girlfriend's ex.
I recently went on an international vacation with my ex-husband, and our kids, and his mother, and my mother. Why in God's name would I do this?
While Mayim Bialik is clearly a talented actress and a doctor to boot, she's also proven to be a successful writer. Bialik joined the team at the Jewish parenting site Kaveler all the way back in 2010 as one of its first editors, and she continues to contribute regularly to the digital publication. In 2015, Bialik launched her own lifestyle website called Grok Nation, which featured videos and articles.
All of the topics that we love to discuss at Grok Nation: politics, women's issues, parenting, the environment, everything.
Bialik described the site as the place where I share my thoughts about being an actress on The Big Bang Theory, being a scientist and a vegan mom, being an unusual woman because I am an actress and a scientist and a vegan mom, and everything in between. Grok Nation quickly grew in popularity, even adding contributors, though the site has not been regularly updated since June 2019, just a month after The Big Bang Theory went off the air. In 2017, more of Mayim Bialik's writing was in the spotlight, but not in a good way. In her essay for The New York Times titled Being a Feminist in Harvey Weinstein's World, Bialik examined sexual harassment in Hollywood. Many readers, fans, and members of the media accused Bialik of shaming women and even implying that women who are assaulted are responsible for being attacked. After writing at length about the conservative choices she's made throughout her career, Bialik added that she hasn't encountered sexual harassment or assault in her career personally, saying, "My sexual self is best reserved for private situations with those I am most intimate with. I dress modestly. I don't act flirtatiously with men as a policy." The essay, according to the Chicago Tribune, was subsequently slammed by numerous women, including celebrities such as Gabrielle Union and Patricia Arquette. Bialik then issued an apology, directly affirming that she believes that anyone who is assaulted is never responsible for the act happening to them. The final episode of The Big Bang Theory aired in May 2019, and when it came to figuring out her next move, Mayim Bialik took a bit of time. She eventually signed on to the sitcom Call Me Kat to play the title role, the owner of a cat cafe in Louisville, Kentucky. Bialik has praised the show since joining, telling the Philadelphia Gay News that the series was practically tailored to her. "I like to say that if my mom, when I was 11 and started acting, could have designed a show for me, it would have been Call Me Kat, because the show takes everything I can do and it puts it in there. She can sing, she can dance, she's funny with her body, she can kick high." Bialik also said that the show mimics her life in one other way. She is the happy owner of 3 cats. And just like her character on the show, Bialik definitely considers herself to be a, quote, rad cat lady. In 2021, Mayim Bialik guest hosted several episodes of Jeopardy following the death of longtime host Alex Trebek. While former Jeopardy producer Mike Richards was ultimately chosen for the job, he stepped down from the role after only one day into the gig after his controversial past came to light, and Bialik was more than happy to step back up to the plate. Bialik issued a statement to Deadline affirming her enthusiasm for the job, sharing that she, quote, couldn't be more thrilled to come on board. Bialik was just as enthusiastic as she was at the beginning of the year when she was announced as a guest host for the show. She told the Philadelphia Gay News that it was a huge honor for her, noting that hosting was one of the most iconic things I think I'm ever going to do in my career. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.